Howdy folks, Dreadshells here, and welcome back to World of Tanks. I hope all of you guys are having a good week and that your Halloween season is going well. Today we're going to be looking at a game that I had in my WZ-131 on Siegfried line encounter. And this particular game is on my EU account, as you guys can tell by Dreadshells with a Z. I wanted to show this video to you guys today to not show about, oh, look how good these decisions are or those decisions are, but it's actually been a while since I've done a kind of a mistakes were made video. And basically, I think it's really good to stop and try to find your mistakes, because you learn more from your mistakes usually than from your successes. Although of course you can learn from both, of course, if you are analyzing them both correctly. But despite the outcome, the statistical outcome of this battle, I made a lot of bad choices in this game, and I wanted to make a video about it and show why they were bad decisions, and show how you can avoid doing them yourselves. So first of all, like I said, we're on Siegfried line encounter, and as an option on where to go as a scout on Siegfried line, you don't have a lot of options, ironically, even though half the map is field. Let's see if I can go into free cam here so I can show you guys. Alright. Even though half the map is field, or actually probably over half the map, there's a fundamental problem with the design of this map, which limits the options on where you can go as a scout. And that is because the field area, all the terrain, this is the top and the bottom of the map, right? All the terrain slopes downward this way, right? And slopes downward this way. And not only does it slow downward vertically, it also slopes downward horizontally from the city down like this, from this side. So basically all the terrain slopes downward towards this area over here by this bunker right here. So basically this entire area is a kill box, and it's a really dangerous place to go. I typically don't go here, and when I do, I usually get wrecked. The fundamental problem with going here early in a scout is that if someone else goes over here to the mirror spot of the center horizontal road here that goes all the way into the city, is that you will be proxy spotted the entire time because it's relatively close, right? And so you can't peek up over this ridge line to try and spot here or here or here, because the enemy knows when you're going to do so and they are pre-aimed on you. So unless no one on the enemy team goes here, you shouldn't be going here at all yourself. So basically it's positioning by vacancy. The other problem, the fundamental problem with the design of this map, tactically speaking, is that it is impossible to push the field usually if the enemy players are somewhat competent, because if you push up over this road, you literally are getting shot from 4 or 5 different directions. They could have someone be sitting back here in the corner of the map. They almost always have someone sitting on this bunker right here. You can get shot from this bunker right here, get shot from this bunker right here. You can get shot from the back of the map here on this tiny bunker here where these trees are, where Artie likes to sit sometimes. You can get shot over here on the edge of the city. Let's see if I can speed up the camera a little bit here. You can get shot by the... there we go. You can get shot from the edge of the city, like right here. As you can see, if someone is sitting right here and you push up over the road and go across, they can shoot you. Also, enemies like to sit here. They can also do the same. And of course, in the city as well, if they have eyes down the mid-road, or if they're sitting up here next to this little this tower, they can also shoot you. So it's actually a really, really bad map design on Wargaming's part. The city plays pretty well, I think, for the most part, but I think that they really, really need to rework the terrain elevation angles in the field, because as of right now, it's just a kill box to go in the game early if you want to be aggressive at all. It's a very defensive position on the map, and you can't be aggressive at all on it, ironically, even though there's a lot of open space. Alright, so enough of that ranting, let's just start with the battle. So early on, I like this map on Encounter and Assault more than Standard mode because you have more options for vision. On Encounter mode, I like to go over to usually this bush right here. The bad thing, I'm going to pause the game here. This bush gives some really good vision on tanks that like to sit on this bunker here, and our tanks that are crossing here or moving up here. You're far enough away if you're sitting in the bush between these two trees right here in D3 that if the enemy sends any tanks here on this mid-road ridge line and they start peeking and poking, you can spot them without getting spotted yourself. Also, you have vision into this what is that, F5 gap here where tanks like to sit right here. So if they start pushing up around in between the tank traps here in the city, you'll see them as the elevation is high enough. Unfortunately, the bad thing about this position right here, from a early spotting point, is if you look at the view range ring here on the mini map, and you compare it to where the spawn points are for the enemy team, it doesn't actually overlap the approach line that the enemy would be taking if the tanks are going into the city. Right, if they're taking a really shallow line here, like if they're going from H5 into G6 and up into F6, you'll spot those tanks for sure. But the most of the tanks going into the city that aren't doing that, you won't spot at all because they're using this more conservative J5, H6, G7, and so forth diagonal approach line, just simply because you're not close enough to them. Remember, it doesn't matter. You could have 6 million view range, but you cannot spot any tanks beyond 445 meters due to the limitations of the game mechanics. So my first mistake here is not posting up in this bush right here. As I said before, what I'm trying to do is I'm actually moving farther forward because I know my view range isn't good enough to spot up, so I want to go here, but that's a risk, not for much reward, because if the enemy sends any tanks here, I'll get spotted early and potentially shot up really badly, as the enemy tanks that are approaching into the city have all kinds of angles of fire on me because they are a higher elevation than me, and it will take me a while to get back into cover. So I should have stayed and posted up into this bush, but what I end up doing is I get overly aggressive, making this roll scout. There we go, we spot a couple of their mediums there. And once again, there we go. I'm way too close, I get spotted, and now I'm getting shot at by the tanks that are approaching over here into the city over here. And right now, I'm just trying to use that bunker right here to keep me safe from at least some of the potential incoming fire. Luckily, our team were able to take advantage of my spots early on that T-44-100, and he got shot up really, really bad, right? Like I was telling about, if you have any vision at all, pushing up here is just a death. It's just a death box, because looking at my team dispersion, there you have like 3 angles of fire on this guy, so he lost a lot of hit points pushing up to the road where he is there in F1. Right now I'm actually playing sniper support for this T-44-100 over here. Unfortunately, he stops out in the open and he doesn't drive into cover right away on this bunker. But once again, it just shows how little cover there is in the field. Like there might be bunkers and whatnot, but they don't provide the adequate cover from the right angles. All right. Hopping up over the tank traps there. It's actually quite easy. Reasonably easy to do now with the physics changes a while back. It's unless you flip your tank at an awkward angle, it's quite easy to hop over the tank traps. wasting time here looking down the middle gap there on the edge of the city. I don't have a shot from the position that I'm at. It's way too sharp of an angle. So now what I'm doing here is I'm pushing in on the T-44-100, and I'm going to pause the game here and show and talk about once again why this is a mistake. Why this is a mistake is that I was calculating that the T-44 was 100 was on a lot of low HP, right? I saw how much damage that he took early in the game, and I figured that he's a one-shot for me. The problem with me pushing up over the ridgeline, like I was saying before, look at where the enemy team are positioned. The enemy team have heavies placed along the center road here in E6 and E7, so they have shots on me if they're paying attention to me pushing up over this road. The STRV, or the Steve as some people like to call it, the tier 6 Swedish premium medium tank, has shots on me if he peeks up around the bunker. The T-44-100 himself, of course, has shots on me when I push up over. These tanks back here has shots on me, and the ISU sitting back here in on this H4 bunker back here also have shots on me. I'm exposing myself to multiple angles of fire just to kill this T-44-100, and the better option for me to do was completely ignore the field. Right, the field is not having an impact on the battle right now. What I could be doing to help my team more effectively is maybe playing some sniper support back here in like a C6, or I could go over here to like a C9, C0, and help put some fire into this F9 area and help kill this Cromwell would be a much better choice for me to do. We get the STRV shot once, and luckily the Comet, there was a chance there that I would not kill the T-44-100 in one shot, but the Comet on my team puts a one shot into him, which makes him a guaranteed one shot for us. And this is what I'm talking about with a really bad map design here, right? It's really hard to be aggressive on this map just because, look at this, I'm using any of the terrain and cover that I can, like using the bunker, but this elevation right here is way too low, and I can get shot at by all these heavy tanks sitting here along the 6th line in the city. Hopefully something that Wargaming will redesign down the road. Get a shot there on the Panther 2. This is the benefit of once you win the field, right? You can start putting flanking fire into the tanks on the 6th line. Quite surprised that I was actually spotted there, as it's kind of on the edge of the view range, within 445 meters. But I have a pretty decent crew. Not great. I'm working on my second skill, and once again I get spotted, which I'm really surprised. So this. At first I thought that the Panther had ridiculously good view range, but now I know that there's someone sitting in this F5 area. So now I'm just being conservative with how much I'm peeking out, because I know I'm going to get spotted every time I peek, right? So just limiting the angles of fire that I'm being exposed to myself. Fortunately, our Comet pushes around and gets taken out by the ISU there. My shot goes low and does not connect. I should have been a little bit more patient with that shot. But once again, the field is really, really easy to defend, and that's the guy that was spotting me there, the Chaffee, and he was sitting in that F5, G5 area, and he was the one spotting me, not the Panther. Take another blind shot there on the Panther 2, as he was tracked when he was last spotted, and I think I must have rolled ridiculously high on my final shot because I think he was like at 270 HP, something like that, and we are able to blind kill him there. But like I was saying before, the field, like similar to the valley on Lakeville, the 2-line valley on Lakeville, the field on Siegfried line is very, very easy to defend, and it's incredibly difficult to assault, just because of how the attack angles work. So now we're down, well, we were down 5 tanks, now we're down only 4, but we've been behind most of this game. And I'm going to pause the game here. The entire time, excuse me, the entire time of me playing around here in the field, yeah, I got the T-44-100 killed, the STRV killed, I killed the Panther, I put a shot in the Chaffee, putting some pressure on the ISU. But there's an overall fundamental strategical error that I'm making here by just being here in the field, right? I could have helped my team way more by playing back on the C-line ridge back here, like in C8, C9, C0, and flexing as we're on to each corner as needed. Because maybe it wouldn't have changed the outcome of the enemy team winning the city overall as they currently have now, but they would have definitely paid with more HP and potentially more tank losses if I would have been helping more in the city. You need to be thinking about where is the strategical goal, right? Where is the outcome of the battle being decided? And a really simple rule to decide that is, where are the enemy tanks? First, you got to know where the enemy tanks are, right, on the mini map, and watching how the battle is progressing. But there's a really simple rule to figure out where you should be and which enemy tanks you should be trying to fight. And you should always be trying to fight the aggressive enemy tanks, right? Maybe not necessarily going head to head with them, right? As they sometimes YOLO and they don't care about getting shot and died. But be in a position to where you can engage and shoot the aggressive enemy tanks, right? Because if you can kill the aggressive enemy tanks first, then the passive enemy tanks here, like the ISU and the STRV, Chaffee or whatever, they're not having an impact on the battle, right? Because they're not pressuring us, right? They're not pushing the tempo. These guys here in the city, the enemy heavies here, they're pushing the tempo of the game. So I could have been much more help to my team if I would help be engaging these guys here in the city instead of these guys in the field. And that's the fundamental strategical error that I was making in this battle. Go for a blind shot there on the IS-3 as he was crossing the 6th line to engage our T-44-100, but I don't think that shot connected. It looked like it went a little high. And right now, unfortunately, it's too late for me to flex over to the other side of the map. There's just not enough time. So now I have to play sniper support here for our T-44-100 as the enemy tanks are pushing up over this 6 and 5 line ridge. Fortunately, don't pen the drive wheel, the O-knee there. Was going actually for a mid to low plate shot on there, but the shell goes high and pens the side of his turret, luckily. Get the side of the IS-3 there. One of the nice things about using the 100mm is that you pen more of your shots. It's a less accurate gun and it has much lower DPM than the 85mm, and also it has a higher aim time. But if you have time to aim your shots well, usually they'll pen a lot more often than the 85mm. And right now, after that engagement happened, with me trying to support the T-44, my T-44-100 teammate there by putting pressure on the enemy heavies as they're pushing up over the ridgeline to engage him. Now I'm actually, this is the point in the game where I actually start playing better, I think. Not perfect, of course, because no one is perfect. But this is the point in the game where I think I'm finally starting to play a little bit better. And now I'm starting to think to myself, okay, so the T-44-100 is actually moved out of position to where I can support him, and it's going to take a lot of time for me to relocate maybe back up here to the north to support him. So looking at where the enemy tanks are, now that I killed one of the IS-3s, and I think the T-44-100 took out the ONE, so killing both of these heavies took a lot of pressure off of us. So now I am actually looking for isolated targets, right? And it isn't the IS-3 and the M6 because they're close enough to each other to support each other, right? Where is the isolated target? And the isolated target is the ISU-152. And you might be saying, well, what about the Chaffee? The Chaffee can support the ISU. Yes, he can, but remember, I put a shot into him earlier when I was shooting at the Panther 2 back here in F6, so I know that the Chaffee is a one-shot for me, right? So when I engage this ISU, if the Chaffee decides to come over and get close and engage me to defend his ISU 152 teammate, I can just turn around and shoot him and kill him in one shot, and then I'd be free to kill the ISU 152 with nobody being able to support him other than an enemy Howdy. And there we see that the Chaffee's engaged there with the T-44-100 on my team. Unfortunately, the T-44-100 gets taken out, possibly by a shot from the GW Panther and also by the Chaffee, of course, as he got the kill shot. I take a wide arc here. Gonna pause the game here and go into free cam. I took a really wide arc here, right? A lot of the success that you can have in your engagements and your ambushes, right, your surprise attacks, is knowing the timing, right? Unfortunately, the Chaffee on the enemy team over here and the IS-3 almost spoiled my ambush, right? And I'm almost at a point where I could definitely get killed if they get a good sniper fire in on me. But what I was doing there is I saw the ISU driving towards my last spotted position, right? Because he thinks that I'm still over there, and I was at the time. But what I was doing here is I was relocating and taking a wide arc, right? I know I'm a faster tank than the ISU 152, right? I want him to go into this depression, right? I didn't want to engage him back up here, right, on this higher terrain, because there's no cover between me and the Chaffee in the IS-3 if I engaged him up here, right? So I was actually letting him drive where he wanted to, right? Because there's a very slight depression back here, and it doesn't give complete cover, but it makes it harder for tanks sitting back on the 6 line here to shoot into, and I would have a better chance of killing the ISU 152 once he gets in there. Luckily, the IS-3 and the Chaffee both missed me, and now, even though I'm not in complete cover from them, I'm in a lot more cover because of this ridge line right here, so it's going to be a lot harder for them to shoot me. And there's nothing that this ISU can do to save himself. So as long as I'm paying attention to the Chaffee and to the IS-3, I will easily kill him. Right now, keeping that bunker in between me and the IS-3 while I was still spotted, this bunker right here. That's another trick that you need if you're using cover to prevent yourself from getting shot. When you're retreating and you don't have time, right? I'm under a lot of pressure, right? This IS-3 is going to be charging me. This Chaffee is going to be charging me. And even the M6 might decide to get off cap and come and attack me as well. So I'm under a lot of pressure. I don't have time to like sit back here and wait to get unspotted and then run away. By then the IS-3 would be way too close and I wouldn't be able to run away. So I have to be running away constantly. So if you have to be staying active 100% in your retreat, look for points of solid cover to block the enemy's direct line of sight and block their line of fire. It doesn't always work to cover from every point of angle, right? But try to find the point of cover that protects you from most of the enemy guns. Like I said before, back in a video that I made in a T-49 game on Ruinberg, try to protect yourself from the most of the threat of the enemy fire if you can't protect yourself from all of it. Going for the flat cheek there of the IS-3 as he was angled to the right, so I had a flat surface of his frontal right cheek, and unfortunately the shot goes high. IS-3 is close enough to spot me, so I take a quick hard right turn to increase the transversal of my tank to him, making it harder for him to aim and shoot me accurately. GW Panther on my team puts a nice shot into the IS-3, lowering him down to a one shot for me. wasn't paying attention and reacting enough in time, potentially, that the already on my team had shot the IS-3. If I had stopped and given myself a couple of extra seconds, I might have had a chance to kill him. Dodge another shell there. I think that was just luckily RNG. The IS-3 shell went just a little high, went right up underneath my head. But I don't have time to, even though this IS-3 is a one-shot, right, and the Chaffee's a one-shot, right, I don't have time to mess around with them, as the cap counter is now at getting close to 80 seconds, which is still, you know, like 40-45 seconds, but that time will tick away a lot faster than you think during the course of a battle. Making another mistake right here, pausing and aiming. Alright, making complete noob mistake right here, stopping and aiming. The Chaffee is roaming around here, right? So I'm going to get spotted if he loops around, which of course he does. So the GW Panther was not expecting him to be here, but nonetheless, he's sitting here, and me pausing here to shoot the enemy GW Panther is a mistake for two reasons. One, it makes me a very, very easy target, well, easier target, let's say, for him to hit, as I am stationary and stopping to aim at him. Also makes me an easier target for the Chaffee to shoot me, and the M6, who is in the cap circle. And it's all for nothing. And I will say for one reason. I can't kill this GW Panther in one shot, right? So if I could kill this GW Panther in one shot, maybe it would be sort of worth it, maybe 5-10% worth it, but it's 0% worth it right now because this GW Panther is full health and I can't kill him. So I'm risking the death of myself for no death of the enemy tank, right? I'm exposing myself to 3 different angles of fire, and stopping and sitting in the open on the top of the ridge here is a really, really, really bad mistake. Get a ridiculously high roll there on the GW Panther, and luckily he misses me, and luckily the Chaffee bounces me, and luckily the M6 I think is using the stock gun. And now I am making another mistake. And let's see if we can go into free cam again. I'm making another mistake here, and zoom out here vertically so you guys can see. Look at the cap counter. I have only 18 seconds left before this M6 wins the game, right? Normally, most of the time, the correct move would be to take out the enemy gun, right? To kill the Chaffee here, since he's a one-shot for me, or most likely one-shot for me, unless I get a ridiculously low roll. But since my average damage is 250, most of the time I'll be killing him. But this is a mistake. Normally you would be wanting to kill the one-shot, but I don't have time, right? This Chaffee could play Ring Around the Rosie with me in the house with me long enough for this M6 to win the game. So what I should have done is posted up here, right? Taken a shot at the M6, might have gotten shot back from him, and I might have gotten shot by the Chaffee, right? And I would have lost some HP for it. But the cap counter would have been reset to 0, and then I would have all the time in the world to potentially retreat back here, and maybe back to here or here, where I could safely engage this Chaffee without the M6 shooting me, and potentially the IS-3, who's over here somewhere trying to get back into the city and into the engagement. So that is another really, really bad mistake that I'm making currently right now. And now I only have 10 seconds. Now I have to sit there and take the shot from the M6, right? There just wasn't enough time. Luckily, Artie on my team gets a nice ambush on the side of the M6. The side of the M6 is actually reliably penned with HE quite often if you aim above the tracks. In the spaced armor, you usually pen that, and he was able to ambush the M6, enemy M6, who was capping from the side, and shotgunned him and killed him. And because I had put a shot of damage into that GW Panther earlier, he was a one-shot for me as he was trying to shotgun me, so there we go. I'm not sure if I spotted that or if the GW Panther spotted that, potentially both of us. IS-3 took a shot at the GW Panther, I think, and missed, listening to the sounds. It's always important to be listening as well as watching to helping you make good decisions. Alright, so here is another bad decision that I'm making. And I'll show why. This is a really, like, it was good for me to try and increase the angle of attack, multiply the angles of attack, right? So, because I'm about a little under 90 degrees, right? Because the GW Panther is right here on this corner right here, right? And I'm coming up to the side of the IS-3. But it's really, really bad for me to be coming up here because of how this terrain works, right? Even though the IS-3 is a tier 8 heavy, it's quite a decently low profile tank, right? And this is just really, really bad remembering of map detail. I don't really have a lot of gun depression, and I don't have a lot to shoot at here. So where I should be peeking up is actually over here, right? I should have continued traversing over here and stayed in cover as long as I could, right? And then popped up here because I am at a higher elevation angle. If the IS-3 turns and tries to shoot at me, I can hide behind this ridgeline right here. If he spots me, and even if he doesn't, and hopefully if he doesn't spot me, I can pull into this bush here, have enough time because I'm unspotted to take my time and aim, and I will have a much better broadside shot at this IS-3 because I can have the complete side of his tank in that shot, where there is over here from this position here. I'll see if I can get it lower. You can see that I will only basically have a side turret shot. So this is a really, really bad spot for me to post up and shoot at this IS-3. Risking losing the game there, exposing myself. He could have turned and snapshot me and killed me, and then it would just be him versus the GW Panther, and he obviously can easily kill the GW Panther in one shot, as he has 390 alpha damage, and the GW Panther at full health has only 360 HP. Now reacting to what I thought was he was going to be pushing north up the 7 line and wrapping around on the B line on this ridge, so I'm retreating, making mistakes there, knocking down trees, and if the IS-3 is any kind of a good player, he'll be noticing that and know that I'm retreating. So now I'm basically thinking, well, I should relocate and try to come up from behind the IS-3, as I think that he's going to be pushing up here along the B line ridge here. But it turns out that he relocated back into the city, and the GW Panther and IS-3 take each other out at the same time, so that's an eye for an eye for both of them, I think is how that works. And they take themselves out with simultaneous shots, which I found amusing there, as you guys can see. But luckily, the GW Panther saved me the trouble of having to kill this IS-3. I would have had a hard time relocating this IS-3 after I had to retreat back onto the 0 line here, because there's a lot of different angles here in the city, and it's really hard to try and find the enemy without driving around a corner blind and them being right there in your face. And of course they have the advantage there where you are not necessarily anticipating that they might be exactly where they are. So once again, I wanted to show you guys this game to show you that in spite the fact that this is statistically a pretty decent outcome as far as the score sheets and yada 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 yada, I made a ton of bad decisions in this game, and I wanted to talk about that because a lot of the time people concentrate way too much on how much damage you did, how many kills you got, how much win 8 you got, all that kind of stuff. What you really should only be caring about is your decisions, right? Making good decisions, the best decisions that you can under the circumstances, right? You can't be asked to do anything more than that because there's 14 people on your team and 50 15 people rather on the enemy team, so they all their choices are out of your hands, right? But what you can control is your own actions and your own choices. And the best thing that you can do is make the best decisions that you can under the circumstances. And after that, the good results will come, right? The more often that you make good choices, the good games, the good statistical results will happen naturally, right? They will happen on their own. And it's much better than trying to like, okay, I want to have a lot of damage, average damage in this tank, so I need to sit back the entire game and let my teammates take the hits all the time, right? That's a bad mentality because the circumstances of the battle might require you to be up in the front taking the hits or sharing HP with your teammates to win the battle, right? The goal of this game is to win the battle. Number one. That's the entire point of this game, in my opinion. Team 1 versus Team 2. And who wins? That's the entire point. And what are the choices that you can make to win the battle? Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling here. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video and hopefully learn from how to not make the bad choices that I made in this game. Good luck out there and happy hunting.